Money Vikings, hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I wanted to do a top 5 of kind of things that Gen X in particular needs to be thinking about in terms of prepping for retirement and just being financially stable and financially strong and secure. Even if we don't want to use the word retirement anymore, it's probably becoming kind of an antiquated term. But I think, we need to continue the dialogue because it's kind of crunch time for this generation. This generation is, what I'm going to talk about can apply to anybody. I mean, if you're a quote unquote millennial or Gen Z, I'd listen closely as well because the time goes by faster than you think. And, you don't think about it when you're in your 20s and 30s, but, 20 years, 25 years goes by pretty fast. And all of a sudden you're going, oh boy, have I done everything I wanted to do? Am I on the right path, trajectory? Have I done some of the things I wanted to do? And am I preparing for just making the future even better and better and being more and more secure? So I wanted to go through the top 5. Here, check out the view first. Check out the nice and beautiful here today. Very nice. So I just want to go through top 5 ideas that Gen Z needs to be considering right now as we go forward. So, sorry, Gen X. So again, they're 43 to 57 years old. So I fall into that category. So it's near and dear to my heart, this concept. And so number 1, we gotta keep the automation going because we are definitely our own worst enemies when it comes to investing and retirement. And there's been a lot of financial psychology that has shown that sometimes the best approach is really a hands-off approach to our investments and to really just try to automate it, diversify effectively, and let it ride. We did a video about the investing trifecta that I would encourage you to check out. It's this idea of harnessing various forces to help those accounts grow. But this is just definitely time to keep that up, not to try to not raid the 401k or lose it or the IRA, whatever you've set up, but to keep it automated. If you're lucky enough to get a match, which I know it's maybe only a third of workers. So that's a fortunate thing for them. But it doesn't mean if you don't have that it's all is lost. It's not. Because first of all, anything is going to be better than nothing, and then you'll start to get kind of a snowball effect. So that's the main thing. And think of that account. So a lot of people get so hung up with, the value of the account. Oh my gosh, it's up this month and it's down that month. I would just suggest not to think about it that way. Think about it like a future, employee, a future employee that's going to work for you. It's you working for yourself, but it's basically a passive income machine that you're creating. That's what you're trying to strive for with that. So that's the way I frame it in my head. Okay, number 2, take care of yourself a little bit. This is not an easy time in life in a lot of ways. And not to say, everything's relative. So I understand there's first world problems and we're not in Ukraine. And, if you're in the middle class in America and you have a pretty stable job and you have clean water and you know where your next meal's coming and you have relatively safe neighborhood, relatively good health. Okay, life's pretty good. You're already winning the lottery right there. So that's something to consider. But it's still time to take care of yourself a little bit because, the midlife time, you might be, you're still raising children and that's not always easy. And you're also you might be taking care of elderly grandparents or parents. But you have to understand that, you're the steward of your own health too. So try to invest in it the best you can. We don't completely control our health. That's the reality of the world. But we seem to have a lot of influence. So just take care of yourself. That's kind of what I'm saying on that one. Number 3. So this is kind of like, it's ensuring diversification, low fees, and a don't meddling mentality. So what I mean by that is it's really easy to chase the next hot thing when it comes to investing. But the tried and true and the reality is that there's a beauty to something like an S&P 500 index because it's self-cleansing. It's sort of, it washes out the weaker companies and it keeps the stronger ones. And that's what you want over the long run. It's very hard to pick the winners in the stock market who are going to do the best. For even the professionals, even the Warren Buffetts of the world, they make mistakes, So we just have to realize our own capacity and our own shortcomings with that. We don't have superior knowledge on everything. We don't have the time to understand everything. And the world can be unpredictable. Things just change. So we really have to have assets diversified in an effective way. For me personally, that's a mix of your standard ETFs, dividend aristocrats, maybe some bond holdings, maybe some cash, and then some alternative investments. I mean, you guys, maybe a lot of you might watch our channel and realize that we do a lot of collecting videos. So, collectibles, real estate investment trusts, there's a lot of alternative things too. And no one really knows which one's going to be the best, but having a diversified plan that's very practical and pragmatic and long-range thinking, I still believe in that. I think it's going to go a long way. Never bet against America. That's my motto. We're going to be fine. We're going to have challenges. Yes, there's always going to be challenges. That's the nature of this world, but America's going to be fine. So that's how I feel about it. This isn't investment advice. These are the things I'm doing. Number 4. So really think at this time in life about housing in the second half and the last third of your life. So, and then this is also about planning for like insurance, that kind of stuff. It's like the practical stuff of life. We have to put in place, we have to understand somewhat, what are we going to do about housing? The ideal is to have a paid off house, of course, right? That's sometimes possible for people, but not always. For some people that might involve moving. But whatever it is, think about it. Are you on track to pay off your mortgage? Are you still renting? And maybe it's time to figure out how to own something, even if it's, something small. I don't know. Now, I get it. Home ownership isn't for everyone, and people can totally retire just fine and have a great life without owning a home. And maybe there's an argument to be made there, but just have a long-term plan and keep in mind that, I guess with renting, there is less control over the property. And you kind of never know when you'll be asked to leave, and you don't really know how much rent's going to go up. So it is what it is, and it's different for every person. But a lot of times having like a nest, is a key sort of critical situation. Number 5, the last one. At this time in life, still invest in relationships in little ways. Warren Buffett is famous for saying that, he's got like all this money and lived in the same house for 55 years or whatever, goes to McDonald's each day. So he's got some really folksy, down-to-earth stuff. And, he's fabulously wealthy, and we don't have to be that way to live a great life. But he says, when you get to his age, you really measure success by, do the people that you love, do they care and love you back, And that's really what it's all about. So, I don't know. We're all trying to grow and become better people. It's not easy, but, maybe think about ways that you could reach out or just be a little better person to somebody else, right? Just how can you be of value or service to them? Because they might return the favor in kind, or they might not, but it just means a lot. So those are some 5 areas just to continue that conversation. Again, every generation, I think, could gain value from these ideas that have been thought of and learned over the years. But now that it's crunch time in terms of Gen X and really thinking about that sort of last third of a career, traditional career, I think we'll have a lot of reinventions along the way, and a lot of people will continue to work just because of the pleasure of it. And there is a pleasure in it, being creative and adding value. So thanks for watching. I like to keep these videos pretty tight, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.